Jimmy, thank you for sitting down with me.
Absolutely.
One thing we noticed in the shop, and you did, of course, because you're there, is that everybody seems to have a car story.
Right.
And so that gave me this idea of what got you into cars, and I sort of wanted to just explore that with some of the guys that work for us and lots of other people. You are lucky number one. I know you're a true car guy. You're entertaining to talk to. So tell us about what happened that got you into cars. Why are you a car guy?
Wow, we're gonna have to go back a little bit, but I'd say it was probably 1993, 94-ish. One of my neighbors had a purple Honda CRX. And back in the day, the Honda CRX was the coolest car ever.
I just saw a turquoise one this morning.
They're cool. Even now to this day, you see one and you're like, it's a Honda CRX. He had every single thing you could think of done to the car. Had ground effects on it, 100-spoke wire wheels, laid out hydraulics on it. So 93, like the only person that had hydraulics was like Snoop Doggy Dogg in a rap video. Me and my buddy went over, we had a Snoop Doggy Dogg cassette tape, and we figured that would be the way to break the ice. We'll go over and be like, hey, you want to play this? Because he had this crazy stereo that you could hear from blocks away. So we go over there, and he was washing his car and stuff, and we were like, hey, we got this tape, you want to play it for us? And he was like, oh, man, and pulled out the old Trapper Keeper CD case and was like, I got a CD player. So, of course, we're like, CD player, wow, like, you're so cool. And he put it in, and it rattled windows and stuff like that. But that would be the first thing that made me think, like, cars are the coolest. I became friends with him, somehow talked him into taking me to baseball practice while I would be hitting the switches and stuff, and I'd be pulling up. So that would probably be my first interaction and first time I was like, I love cars. I wanted a CRX probably for the first 20 years of my life.
And how old were you at that point in 93?
Probably 12.
12,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how long from that point till you got your first car?
I got my first car in 98, but I didn't turn 16 till 99. My mom got a remote starter on her Blazer at C. Harper out in Belle Vernon, and I went with my dad to get the remote starter put on. And while that was getting done, they actually had the Chevy Extreme, which today is just an S10, but back then was like ground effects, wheels, all that stuff. It was a pretty cool car. And they had it actually on one of those revolving disc things in their showroom. It was just something about it. It already had wheels on it. It already had ground effects. You really wouldn't have to do anything to it. Like, it was already there. My dad asked me if I liked it, and I told him, yeah. We go to check on the remote starter for my mom's car, and they start moving all the showroom cars out, and they move that truck out, and they bring it back to where we were, and they start waxing it and cleaning it. And my dad was like, I bought that for you. I said, no way, you gotta be kidding me. And I've turned 16 2 months after that. I was 15 years old with a brand new off the showroom floor truck. It had 2 miles on it.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is very cool. So that first car, that's the one I really want to focus on, because everybody remembers their first car vividly. Tell me a little bit about that. After it got off the showroom floor and you got it to your house, was it everything you dreamed it was going to be?
Oh my goodness. I wasn't even moving it yet, obviously, because I didn't have a driver's license. And I had to learn how to drive stick. I didn't know how to drive stick. I had a four-wheeler, so I kind of knew the whole clutch experience and stuff like that. So for the first couple weeks, my dad would take me up to the church above our house, and I'd practice in their parking lot, and I mastered the hill and learned how to drive it and do all that fun stuff. I probably waxed it every day after school, and it didn't even leave the parking lot. It was black, so I probably did a lot more damage than I thought. My brother was getting a remote starter on his Gixxer 600 street bike. Ultrasound was a place across from Sheetz in Irwin. I don't know if you remember that. We were there getting a remote starter for that, and they had 20-inch wheels, and this was 98. Like, this was before dubs. This is before all that fun stuff. My dad got me 20-inch Daytonas for it. Big chrome wheels. They were awesome. That would probably be my first car mod I would have had. Later, it snagged me in the butt. The big speed bump in front of JCPenney's, I ended up actually bottoming out on that and teeter-tottered. I had to have a flatbed come and get me.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I've always wondered if anybody's ever done that there, because that
I did it.
such
It's
a
drastic.
triangular shaped.
The second I got to the middle, both my back wheels were just spinning and I could turn my front wheels.
Was it stock ride height?
Yeah, but the Chevy Extreme was pretty low
it was,
already,
yeah.
and then once I put those wheels on it, it was pretty low. It was pretty low for a truck, for sure.
So then what ended up, do you still have that truck, or like what happened to that truck? Is it somewhere?
It's gone. I totaled it coming down 30. I actually saw another Chevy Extreme, and it was stock. I don't know why, but I was looking at it to see if he was looking at me. I was a 16-year-old kid trying to act cool.
Oh, so you didn't have it very long.
Oh, no, I guess I would have been 17 for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it definitely for like a year, so I would have probably been about 17 pushing 18 because I was working at Goodyear. I was coming up over a hill, saw a Chevy Extreme, so I was looking to check to see if he was checking me out because mine was all done up, and then slammed into the back of someone. That's a pretty funny story too. When I hit the guy, he jumped out. It was in a Pontiac Sunfire.
Okay.
And he was a crazy looking creature. And the first thing he said was, I'm in the Derby. I do the Derby. Good thing I saw you coming. I braced for it. And I'm like, okay. So he's like, pull off the side of the road. We don't want to be in the middle of the highway. So we pull off the side of the road, and he's like, I've been drinking all day, so I don't want to be sitting on the road like that. And I was like, there's my in. So it was my first car accident. Like I was, I was nervous, and my dad had the GMC Typhoon. So in my dad's,
those are cool.
Yes, very cool. So in my dad's eyes, he thought that's where the Extreme was gonna be 10, 20 years. It was gonna be like a collector's item and stuff like that. So like the truck meant a lot to me, but to my dad, it was gonna be something. So like we had to take care of it. And the guy tells me that he was drinking and stuff like that. Like I just let him give me his information. He says, have your dad call me and stuff like that. Well, I get back to the house and I could drive it, but it was, the front end was pretty smashed up. And my dad, I go and tell my dad that I was like, someone hit me. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, I was driving and he pulled into my lane and he smacked me. So my dad goes to call the guy. And the first thing he says is, well, you hit my son. And the guy must have said that the heck I did. Like he hit me, he plowed into me. And then it actually, so my dad called the state police. They went out there and he was out on 22 somewhere, drunk as could be.
Oh, no way.
So it kind of like fit into my story. And so that was that would have been my first car accident and the end of the Extreme.
That's unfortunate for the Extreme. And that's rough when it's your first one.
Right.
I did not wreck my first one. I sold it, which was a sad day. 16-year-old, 17-year-old, you have an S10 Extreme. Kind of a quick truck. Got big wheels on it. I'm sure the police loved it.
Yeah.
Did you ever get pulled over?
I got pulled over.
In that truck?
The first time I got pulled over, it really wasn't pulled over. It was the first time I guess I was ever in trouble with the police because of the truck. I don't know why, but it was Thanksgiving. And we all got done eating a little early, and we all met up, me and a couple of my friends, and we had paintball guns. Well, the cool thing about my truck was I could have two of my friends in the cab with me, but then I could have two of my friends in the bed. They would lay in the bed, and we'd go wherever we were going. My dad always thought, like, I'm going to get him a truck because then he's not going to be able to throw a bunch of his friends in it. Well, I slammed him in the back of it and had him lay down under the tonneau cover. We used to go drive around, and we'd paintball people, and it was Thanksgiving Day. It was probably about 7 o'clock, and we pull up in this housing development. We don't even know where we're at. And we can see the people in this big, huge bay window sitting down having Thanksgiving dinner. So we light up the window a couple times and take off. Well, we get to the end of we get to this road, and it's a cul-de-sac. We have to turn around. It's a dead end. So now we have to go back towards the house. So we come down the road, and the dad is in the middle of the road trying to juke the car. I get around him, and I get to get away, and obviously he got the license plate, and I go to drop my friend Corey off later on, and his dad's there and says, the police are at my parents' house, we need to go over there.
So this was pre-cell phone days, which is hard for many of us to imagine. So it was pre-cell phone days. You get to your buddy Corey's house. Your dad apparently had already called your friend's dad. Yeah. Okay. So how did that, was your friend's dad mad too? Or was
oh yeah, it was Thanksgiving Day, and like cops call them and say like we're shooting people's freaking windows while they're trying to have dinner. So I try to play it stupid. Corey says that my dad wants to talk to us. We have to go home. So I call my dad from Corey's house phone, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he goes, police are here. You know what's going on. You know, like get home. You know what you already did. Like, and obviously I did. I was in a high-speed pursuit. Like I was already caught. Like I knew what it was. We didn't get in much trouble. He made us drive back and apologize, and the guy was super nice about it. But at the same time, like,
did the paintballers go through the window?
No.
Oh,
They just scared the crap. I think it scared a kid real bad, like a younger kid, which I can imagine. I'm a dad now, so like I'd be upset too. But like, it was more drastic when it happened, I guess.
So behind you, we've got what you are currently driving. So we've got your first one. It's the S10 Extreme. Tell us a little bit about what you've got going on here.
It's a 2012 Volkswagen GLI. I don't know what is stock in it. I couldn't tell you, really, actually. There's a lot of modifications done, every single thing you can think of, actually. IDF control arms, the full bottom, big turbo, intake manifold, the whole engine's ported and polished. Interior's all redone.
Very cool. What kind of power does it put down? Do you have any idea?
Around 520.
Wow.
Yeah.
To the wheels?
Yep.
Wow.
It spins first and second, but once I catch traction, it's pretty fast.
Very cool. I've been in it. I know it's pretty darn quick. It's wrapped. obviously. Not by us, but it was wrapped. And it's a beautiful job. It looks awesome. What color is that?
Roaring Thunder by Avery.
Avery Roaring Thunder. Yeah. Cool. And how many other cars have you owned?
Oh my goodness.
Between that one and the one that's sitting behind you?
I am a car tramp when it comes to it. I've probably had at least 20. At least 20.
And how many years you been driving?
26, 36, 22 years.
So almost a car a year.
Yep.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Every single one of them at least had a set of wheels on them. Something was done to every single one of them.
I believe that.
When it comes to them, I got to do something to make it mine. You know what I mean? I like to do something, whether it's a set of wheels or anything, just to make it my car.
Of those 20, what's the favorite car you've ever owned?
Oof, I'd have to say my S4.
Okay.
My S4. Obviously, I love this thing, and it was about, I had a STI. I loved it because I hated it because of the noise. I liked it because of the speed. I've liked everything, but then like something, it didn't have something like this. Wintertime, it's pointless. The S4 was awesome. It looked good. It was fast, but then you add snow, it was still fast, and it was it was just Quattro and Audi will have my heart forever because of that reason. Like Hillview was closed one time, and because of the snow, so they closed it. Two of the owners and one of the other guys in a big 3500, the only people that showed up except for me and my Audi, pushing the snow. So if I had to have a favorite, it'd definitely be my Audi S4.
All right, I got one last question for you. So when you were a kid and you realized you're just getting into cars, you love cars, is there a car that you really wanted to have at that point? Did you ever get it? And is it still the same dream car, or have you changed from that time?
I would have to go, I kind of have two. If I was going for something fast, I love the older 911 Porsches, like from Bad Boys. That one, perfect. Your dad's is similar to the one I like. Always what I've wanted was a 64 Impala.
Interesting.
I just always liked them. Obviously, I'd ruin it and put hydraulics on it.
I was just going to ask, what would you do to it? Okay.
I'd put hydraulics and wire wheels on it, and it's just something about them. I think that's the coolest thing in the world, and I just love their old body lines and the way they look set up with hydraulics. I like things like that.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing all that information with us about the car stuff. Like I said, everybody seems to have a car story, why they're a car person. There's always a background, so really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.